제외 소나제 로라 판저 상제 르벌소 저 탐제 당 대외 저당 당벌저시 샘제 탐제 등어 당등어 제제 당자월저시 샘제 탐제 등어 베베 대와 당만자월저시 탐제 예랑 저당 니당 자위 단요라 대월저지 샘제 탐제 대와 당 대외 제당 당벌저시 탐제 등어 당등어 제제 당자월저시 샘제 탐제 등어 베베 대와 당만자월저시 탐제 예랑 차당 니당 자위 단용라 대월저지 소주 비제 시상 메도점 러로랑지 니르디 양반드 상제 상데 메데바와이 로그나다 상나 조벌쇼 이등그르라나만라 도르야메.
In English, page number 11. I take refuge in the Guru.
I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Sangha.
From now on,
I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha.
this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood, all sentient beings. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and causes.
May all sentient beings free from suffering causes. May all sentient beings may all sentient beings free from suffering.
This ground is surrounded with perfume, flowers, mountain mirror, encircled by the four continents, surrounded by the sun and the moon. I visualize this Buddha feel and offering. May all living beings enjoy the joy.
야, 그거 성화로 하는 식구를 잠들 다시 들려요세.
And Margot, and good morning to you all. Thank you for joining me in today's Dharma discussion. Thank you and welcome.
내가 아주 마트네 로마도네 다리도네 로마로 소환돼 버렸지.
So we're going to continue our same practice, that is the recitation of Aryan Torah mantra and meditation on the recitation.
아니 아주 지금 공부열서 사 공부하나 사 눈도 지저 로마 공부하나 지저 로마 때 지금 집당 공 지저 로마다 셔럽당 현지기 랑즈기도 파 시나바도 셔리도네 근데 지금 로나니 저 로마 코랑 안네 로지도 로베 나서 생각 보면 근데 이때와 천 손이 혹시 야시 연받던데 지금 안데 특가나 엄다레도 다레들이 소화제 거 창고리 donde samdona 역보여서 donde samdona donde 거 다레들이 배 어즈를 tru니 근데 아주 직전 디감 탐지용 소라 참니甚至 탐지 단단 나찬도 촌배甚至 탐지를 이게 등은 동 탐지 매화 작성 냠삼 분의 용들이지.
Okay. Well, to give you again a very brief, quick reminder or short essential instructions on Aryantara mantra recitation, the meditation itself. First of all, we have to know that when you mentally invite the Aryantara, the Buddha of the wisdom and the Buddha of compassion, actually, you need the way view or to have that intimate, close, sacred contact in your meditation, state of your meditation, state of your visualization, is that based on the understanding that Aryantara is a representation of the unification of all the Buddha's wisdom and compassion. So even though in a kind of physically, in a way that her spiritual sort of a physical form in your state of visualization of meditation is appeared to be a female, looks like a 16 years old, beautiful, and a lady. However, and she's of course is absolutely gorgeous and very appealing, and looks to you is not just sacred and superior, and but is very compassionate, and she's endured like what we technically say that's applied to all the Buddha. So she is marked, her entire spiritual body is marked by the 32 remarks and 80 special signs. And so then you think about having this vivid image in your mind, and then think about at the heart chakra of Aryantara. So there is appears again in your state of visualization, meditation, and appears the circle of the Aryantara mantra itself, Om Dari Du Dari Du Soha, and so once you have that sense of that is mantra that is there in the heart, at the heart chakra of Aryantara, then further do the visualization, that is to imagine or think of from that the mantras, then the radiates the light and the power of the light, and reaches out to all sentient beings and throughout the entire universe. In our particular context, and we needed to think about by the power of that very light and all the sentient sufferings that the sentient being in experience in general being removed, and particularly the current conditions of pandemic. Whoever is being suffered or been experience tremendous difficulties with this disease are now instantly removed. And then once you reach this point, and then stay there, remains that state, and continue a recitation.
Roma ke tari ta poi gana te sau ngado tari tari so te sau se matwana drat ko de ko tari tari so de drat rang drat topi goni drat chen ne peso rozi tamchila pa 참는 짓던데 좀 잡송 선난 그러지.
So because mantra is of course is not a kind of language that we understand, it's in the Tibetan version of the Sanskrit. However, when you say the Om Dari Du Dari Du Soha, and just imagine that very sacred formula or the sacred mantra is a kind of spread out the entire out and reach out the entire universe, and then you can feel it, and you can hear that very mantra yourself, as if everywhere there is the presence of you and the presence of the mantra itself.
또 몸 자통도 간드나 니마 샤리 온수 니미 오근 잠노 온수 잡리 노다 뜨능지네 지존로미 특질리 엄다리 तर서 다다 트용 순직든 탐질 때랑지 니미 오 쳐바도 지 잡송 삼는 그렇지 또 차병으로서 때라 때네 삼지 탐치기 등은 탐질 셀 대화당 된 아니 소소 탐지긴 노비 돈 접송선 소소랑 이때 나래더라.
Yeah. Yeah, again, to make the matter more simple, let's think about this way. So the way I'm saying is, you visualize that the mantra of Aryantara is spread out and reach out to the entire, fill up the entire universe. Is in a way, so you can imagine like at the time of the sunrise every morning. So as soon as the sun arises, then it dispels all the darkness of the planet Earth, and then remove all the made everything transparent. So similarly, as I think about the Aryantara mantra and the sacred sound formula, it's the way it appears, and then the way it's sort of spread all over the entire universe, just like the sunlight at the moment when the sunlight arrives, then immediately reach out or fill up the entire universe. And then the same way, just like the sun removed or made all the dispel and make everything transparent. Similarly, that the mantra, wherever it reaches, and then the power of the mantra instantly remove all the sufferings of the sentient being, and then sentient beings are have whatever the desired happiness or prosperity and safety or the peace, whatever they desire. All of them are reached their desired goal, and now they are maintained in that very content, satisfied, and the state of peace. So yes, so reach this point, and then rejoice, and then maintain, and then in that state of the greater spiritual and bliss as long as you could.
근데 다리 들어서 세한테 제 로마라잖아 그송 틀라시고 소소슬라잖아 링어에서는 거고 다리서 당보대 아니 돌마스 로아 증아로 무시 뭐 바탐지 또니 람 용버토메우나 돌마스 네 다 셔럽지 차라죠 다리 들어서 와서도 니와라시고 니와 아니 형지 첨부 끝니 라인자 아니 니르마세 셔웨 저 간다 돈도 전도 진짜 형지 첨부 끝니 라인자 샤워 간다 니와요 전등 아니 니르마세 아니 타마들이 소화세 그 화모세한테 니 돈이 니와로 공절한테 니와요 빠다 켄지 니섬세한테 좀비니 나지도 마텔라니 소화세한테 아주 대중구 돈도 탐지는 용절지니 모두 바 정리기로 니와요 바 때라니 대중구 돈도 된자다 아니 대삼로 돈에 땅도 돈이지 아다.
Okay. So lastly, let me give you a very brief again reminder and what the essential meaning of the Om Dari, Tu Dari, Duri Soha. So Dari referred to Droma in Tibetan, which means the enlightened. Actually, it's mother of the liberation, literally. So mother of the liberation, or the goddess, the enlightened being, or the divine goddess of Tara. And so when you think about the Tara and Tara, and you immediately think about the wisdom aspect of a wisdom quality and endured by all the Buddha, or the wisdom aspect of Aryantara. So because Tara is represents the wisdom self, and then Om Dari, Tu Dari, that means is power and or the ability, capacity. This capacity is superior, and it is superior because it's driven by the great compassion. It's motivated by the great compassion. And that very great compassion and basically is aimed to serve all others. So there is no any slight self-consideration there, self-interest involved. Just merely purely for the sake of all others. So therefore, the Aryan Tara and has this the power which she has is superior. So then on Dari Untari Dudari Duri, and Duri is the swift or instant or there's some in that's in the super sort of speed and the which means that instantly or swiftly that represents the Aryan Tara's power of the wisdom and power of the compassion and the power of the deeds or the her enlightened deeds or compassionate deeds are swift, spontaneous, instantaneously, and she can perform the compassionate deeds in terms of serve or help out all suffering the sentient beings who are suffering. So then finally Soha. Soha is represent the essence of a Buddhist teaching, a philosophical teaching of interdependent origination. Because the things are events are dependent upon each other. So therefore, when you recite in the Soha and think about the Buddhist concepts or understanding of interdependent origination.
진짜 로마라도 그 성태 같은 거를 가능서 링어 있었나 좀 그때나 때니 영화 있던 가능서 링어 있으면 딱니 맞답이 뭐야 딱데 딱비 건 루트 봐요 좀 거지.
My apologies, I left the first part of the mantra, the Om. The Om is represent Aryan Tara's body, speech, and mind. When you apply the Om and to yourself as a meditator, then you think about your body, speech, and the mind.
전나 소소 이제라 단나가 진짜 로마라 니와스 방 아주 이제라 사원이요로 또 원도 이제 송나 소하세 등 아랑도 이제라 종용인 바가 뜻던 거지.
Yeah. Yes. So think about we are basically the constituents, right? And by the body, speech, and mind, and so this body, speech, and mind in the currently in terms of enlightenment or enlightened quality, it's only at the seed level. It hasn't yet manifest yet. However, this seed can be manifested and can be fully growing into its full capacity. And why? Because just like we just explained about when you recite in the Soha, the last two syllables of mantra. So you think about it, we know that it's dependent origination, and the things, events are dependently originated or derived and maintained. So therefore, it is absolutely possible if we appropriately apply the methodology and the Dharma teaching and to nourish, to identify the very seeds, the sacred seeds of our own body, speech, and mind, then by the power of the Dharma, practice of Dharma, then this level of the enlightenment. Why? Because again, the things, the events are dependent arising.
딱 범자인 직당도 아니 대랑마다 범자나 당고 튀와지 암조년 진에 뒤돈 삼당 삼노 땅니 돈도 혹시 손났더니 덤마더니 곰바이나 인들이 그러마 종안이 시진이 마다가 공부다 아니 라운징 셈나 곰바 튀와지 그러지.
So yes, now let's go to our actual practice itself, that is meditation. And again, so meditation is, although it sounds like a simple task, in fact, the real meditation and the form of meditation which we are here, we're going to apply and as a technique to attain the enlightenment has to be taking place through the process of hearing, meaning that you have to understand what you are going to meditate on correctly, and by study, listening, and attended the teachings such like this one. And then you need to bring the knowledge, the instructions, or whatever the philosophical discussions that we had, and into the second process, that is contemplation or analysis. So you needed to critically the validity of what you heard, and then to finalize, right, the key or the core teaching, and then you need to bring that very core value of the hearing and the contemplation into the actual meditation. And this is not just for like here. This practice cannot be enough just for do about 15 minutes in a day like we do here, but rather you do 15 minutes here, and then you bring this very technique in your throughout your day, wherever you go, whenever you can, and do it continuously, and then eventually you will find that your mind is now get very acquainted, or get so much so familiar with this technique, and then you will experience the wonderful fruits yourself.
Page 74, mantras on page 74.
Dore tona tamche dema so yeke chela ran dare de re so 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 Wande Nirde no Jizin Roman Dirne Draw Chijama Leva De Sana Gopur Show Nye Ba Nirde Nale Tarjin Rue Nan Mali Wa Tate Shongwa Mipur Show Manamut Tong Damba Tong Song Denju Dubur Kado Serbo La Soba Nyongje Sem Tong Danger Chu. 야, 다 같은 거 초트네 마테스 진로고 되면 몽고도 되지 마라.
So let's continue where we left in previous Sunday, and today we probably will not able to cover much.
때는 뻥을 샤지. 렌종 마샤 시완 로종라 세식대 일 마치월 링가 워리 곰소 첸디 손드실즈네죠. 워버트 링업디 게워 멍따피 링셰바데 타오 마임버 고슴기 솜바 탐질 세직드 드닐라 지위 레데스 디슴 성지 탐지진 로아치비 람임비 셔로 다 어떻게 말까지나
어떤 거야? 네, 건 쇼간가 뭐야? 뭐야?
그 곱된 건 어디?
뭐야? 그거든 거. 어쨌든 삼년 탐지 삼지지 공부되는 거 말로라.
근데 뭐 어떤 차랑 다른 게 요들다. 내는 뻥을 샤오스네. 지금도
때문에 뻥을 샤오.然后这个花钱没去过，干嘛那个？人中没下西北，老中这题不是第二位。
렌종
然后这个花钱没去，
내는 뻥을 샤오. 렌종 마샤 시완은 로중와 세직도 일 마치워진. 랭가 고물 샤오더니 말. 드니 먹으나 말는 거 쇼바니 기타시.
Okay, on our page translation 104, and so 104, don't be sporadic. This offers to meditating occasionally and performing some rituals of body and speech in the nature of a religion, but without wholehearted faith in the practice of mind training. Being cheerfully involved in amazing wealth for this life. Instead of behaving like this, it is appropriate to concentrate all activities of body, speech, and mind single-pointedly on this practice of mind training. This is because this is the sole path traversed by all the Buddhas of the three times.
또 말저 존나 가는 거죠.
이게 된지 똑같이 의사들 이 가정에 딱 있는데 이게
무슨 조가 끝나나 봐.
직단 취재라서
또 정말 좋잖아. 저 가정 안에 가 정말
이런
이머롱와 정말 좋살다.
이런 고목들 살아.
정말 더러. 또 살다 더니.
조반 고로 살아.
살처럼.
린조. 그냥 이제 떨어져서 내리다.
그런데 대들 봉을 좀 더래. 되는 봉을 샤대지. 렌조가 샤시와나 로종 쓰시. 다 노로 지나듯이 걸 때들 되는 봉을 샤워서 또 있잖아. 로종 던져만 그 쓰기 살아. 정말. 딱 아니 고즈무 키가 그러는 디 돈도 가르쳐거든나. 다 chitang shawa kanta gangcha ina tangbo tela pe linga ismu lo si chik de dramni shawa te drawa ina tela niwatun thwa ji yongre si te ma chi parpara chi chan sama chi dan do chi china mandupi ma chi tindi jaga ina oda niwatun thwa ji yong thku mare si te chitang ge shawa te ji ina an ta de ta te disum sangji zine ti diwa ta mawa da ta jong mawa na jongjir chi sangji tamchi ki ani 로이 람치고 상지지 사람 로사 람테 다 샴냥지 상지 참로서 공주티 람테레 바로 뜻이 바트 냠스렘바 어디 던데 릴라오 텐데지 초고 말에 대자다 텔라니 지 티슴 고슴 그 이긴 상니 제고를 어떤 노리 도도샤나 딜합샤데 뜻이고시
그렇지. 왜 다행히 오는 거 말이야. So yes, the essence of this paragraph is just like said in the don't be sporadic. So don't be sporadic and or don't be on and off. Meaning, you kind of doing the practice sometimes and or whenever you please, and another time you sort of set aside and pushed away, and so that is not the advice. The teaching here is that don't do that. That is not a good thing, a good practice. Why? Because even in the case of the worldly achievement or materialistically, when you set up some kind of a goal, a project, and you do need consistently working on that very project until you reach the objective, right? Otherwise, you say, "Oh, I like it very much now," and you got so excited, and you're jumping in, and you tried, very hard, and you're doing so a whole lot. But then another time, you kind of get tired or feel bored or feels there's not much inspired, and then if you stay and if you discontinue and stay away from that very project work, you will that kind of on and off or sporadic behavior would not take you to anywhere. Similarly, right? And here we are talking about the path or the implementation of the very sacred path. The path it has been practiced by the Buddha of the past, and Buddha has been practiced by the past of the Buddha of the past, the present, and the future. So since the three Buddhas of three time to become the enlightened one, achieved their final, the highest spiritual goal, that is enlightenment. It is because they consistently working on the path. They dedicate themselves to the path, and that's this sacred the path or the teaching that we're here talking about. So the teaching is essentially the practice of kindness, practice of the compassion, and essentially is represented by the practice of 6 paramitas, right? And so, because the Buddhas and to be a Buddha, to become a fully enlightened one, is not as simple, as easy, and like you try to achieve something that materialistically in this life here, like some kind of world project. It is much more time consuming, and it requires much more effort and the dedications. So therefore, on and off and do as you please would not get you anywhere. So therefore, the consistency is very much needed. So consistency means that you needed to constantly and study and contemplating and meditating on the essential teachings of kindness, compassion, and the 6 Parajana Paramitas, or 6 great perfections of wisdom, then you can achieve your goal.
다티 오마 통통즈도 이치 먹음세 시원나 랑리 잔라 판 종슬 식시비 이기 근데 어떤 돈상 정위 남바 마샤데 진기 이르 나 좀든디기 송 리파리 무송이 시로즈니 어때지 겨스다 통통 맞는
Practice on influentially. This supports the previous point without wavering, integrates all aspirations to one purpose.
단 니도는 갈수고나 왕도 지금 소수대 제나 또 제인지 모소전에 네 비나 미질라 록파전다 미질라 록파대제데 야고로 소소근데 록파제데 제인 쇼지 베라 때 무밀라 모소지기 때데 지기 요쇼지네 또 지나 소소 모소대 몸전에 되게 파쇼팅 니원 냠도래 때 나지 체제나 소소가 지금 티송 건숨제데 시송나 시에데 메라 모소지가 체도 삼노당 들지나 네 선지 좀 던데 공부한다 등기고 말했어 강시와데 파 모수지야 마이 강시와도 수질라 스라 겨르지니 소수 샘들와 지야가 배추 땅 터고래 다 너도 드셔고.
So the essential point, like they said, is to continue to support the very important point that we have just discussed about today here. So to be on flinchingly, meaning that so you practiced, right? You did something spiritually, and but you have to be aware of not let you being sort of mislead to the side where you began to bragging and or show off, and by telling others how many mantras you recite and how long you meditate for and how good your recitation is, and so on and so forth. And so seeking for somebody's approval or recognition, and or try to impress others, and that is not the good thing to do here, and in this particular case, or that's the essence of this very point. And just like generally, when we help somebody, right, the best way to help is just help out, and that's it, and complete the task and finish it, right? But very often, our worldly attitude, right, and towards this kind of helping others is like we immediately bragging and immediately seeking for other person's approval or recognition and or appreciation. And so if we use the same attitude or apply this attitude and towards the Buddha Dharma and the Buddha's teaching, and then the merits or the value and the core value of the merits that we accumulated from the practice would be diminished. Why? Because that is not what the Buddha is intended to you do. That's not the intention of the Buddha. The Buddha's intention is rather you take the teaching and so you implement it to and in your day-to-day life, and then try to transforming your mind, and then make the progress steadily. So and this is not for your practice is not for bragging. It's not for get somebody's impress anyone.
네, 저다 기타니 양 타치도 셰게 요마르세가 오마르테코 디땅 남바타 가자땅 기와땅 소소 그롱라 티요르지 so kalung kanina pasha de so ge de chen de chen na jente na de chen kuma temni koronzo yang de yoko je ga lamka chin jago tmewa ani ni yonde de ko jopa na korong de la te ni ni yonde de la te korong la chi ji ngazo na ta lamlong du sem te to de sami jona diki yore e 파죽 때 로제나 로제 로지 김천 로션 미 잠바게 때 양때 꿀웅 제 때 있는 거 또 마임 바지네 따티 진행이 제 뜻은 알아 미주 요거지 지 or 요걸 삼고 때 셔마 꿀웅 때 키니 나 당보스네 꿀웅 때 키니 셰고나 어디니 뭐데 소수 로제나 까르지나 고아테 기위 니와르도 다나 조 살서 그다 야 공원 페트고 말다 소수 띵고수지야 때 거랑 어수지야 뒤가 조르 그때 캡공로다 든 라서 말든 자다 그자던 기와라 때니 클롱라 조 클롱나라 그러지 샤와칸다 동지
Okay. Here, let me make a clarification. Let me, in other words, let me clarify the point we just discussed. So earlier we say, our practice of the Dharma should not be like what the text says here is, on the for show off, right, and bragging and to impress others, but rather keep it to ourselves. Otherwise, we will lose the merits and or the value and of the practice we have accomplished. Well, having said that, and whether you are, it doesn't mean, it does not suggest, regardless what, you cannot or should not, never ever mention or say anything about the practice you have done or how well you did, and you share your spiritual inspirations, your spiritual experience, right, with others. It does not suggest that you cannot do that or you should not do that. It is saying, and what it is saying is that you have to carefully examine your motivation, right? Let's say here you have some kind of a very inspirational moment, and you are so inspired, and you feel so encouraged and hopeful, and even something is very profoundly and affect you and happen to you. So whether you want to take that experience as a resource or as some kind of example, encourage others. You wish others also can have the same very inspirational and become very sound and joyful and happy like you do, like what have the same experience like you had, right? And to be really feel very motivated. If you start from this this understanding, right, then of course you also have to check who is the audience, right? If you must know is whether the person you talk to is the right audience or not. If it is the right audience, potentially or most likely, and your comments, your experience, or your conversation, and your explanation about what are wonderful things have happened to you, and through your the practice of the Dharma, and or something that is very specific. If you find that that person is suitable, is the right audience, then yes, and your plus your motivation is want him or her or them also to become or to experience the similar wonderful spiritual the qualities. So have this in your mind, and then carefully in choosing the right audience. And then you of course you should say it, you should share it, you should let others know, and how effective or how inspirational and how wonderful your practice has been. But again, the point is, if you forgot all this, right, you didn't examine your motivation, or your motivation was, oh, this is so great, I'm going to impress him or her or them, and so then I can get some kind of recognition, and to get some kind of the sense of a superior than other. If you share your spiritual experience, your good experience quality, the spiritual quality, spiritual experience has a high quality with someone, and they're driven by this kind of motivation, then this virtue, according to the Buddha, will be diminished. Why? Because you have done something and then you executed it in the very wrong way. You use it to boost it instead of transforming yourself, right, and further reach the further higher point, and also helping others transforming themselves. Now you are using it to boost up your ego. So that's why the merits that you have accumulated will be got lost.
다 대랑 기초 마치 두고 살았대나 안에 무슨 그 저들은지나 고도서라 당이 나랑 그 냠냠 총총도 주서 시고지.
Yeah, and so
it's 11 o'clock.
Today, so I guess because of time, we're not going to have a question and answer session. Instead, let me share my a little story and my own experience to see what we can as a reference for you.
적당 가랑도 참았다. 아주 코리는 량게 강을 망보이를 리그 강을 요로 생물 강을 요로 대자다 나랑라 대체 송구 결혼도 삼다 지요지 말소 나랑라 강다가 리그 강을 참았다가 요로 이나 강은 종사대 꼬르지 생물 강을 꼬르지다 남tok 존이 용니 꼬르지 버지 때 소소 심지 없고 제네네 다주지 버지 꼬르지 모이네리 그때 종는 꼬르지 버 때 다랑 심지 지난 서우토용 때 늘 지그레지 Tela tene ne kanga cheng so ranginga semnanga kanga tena kanga tela tene ne ranginga semnangla ne 공로지 연구 공로지 막혀나 막혀 tene shedang jiwo shedang jiwo shedang ta wong de jersona shedang die ne ta pete khani kangjang de shia ta li kangjang de jial so li gang sem to wong jer shedang wong jer so di shedang wong de jer ne kamna kanzong tene nyomba chada te nyomba chason ta nyomba tela 스치기 야지야요 말때자 가도 등인지 소소랑이 셔당원도 소소랑이 뇽바치고도 제 강서 셔당원송다 전 뇽바치고도 등인지 당고 지트 거래지 대자당이 남제 들리 셔당기 용도 심지 마킬라 등의 용물소 갈람송 때네 가와더니 지가 마셔지니 상진더니 내월사더니 든지 지가 마셔지니 아니 지기 타랑보 참로안로 든지 지니 아니 타마 셈틀로 차송나 든지 지니 삼로 동네 때 다주지게 요지 ngala ina phantok chembo de te ngadu changmalu chikpa de inge marta ina ten chi raison la yang phantok na sanang te shegi yosi.
Okay, so the reference I'm going to share my experience, my understanding about the point we just discussed is this. Is something that I sincerely find as helpful and has good merits. I want to share with you. Okay, so let's say we all have to agree that we are born in the samsaric, the world in the condition in which we were born. They call it samsara, and all the experiences we have went through, we are dealing with. Technically are samsaric, meaning it's unsatisfactory. So unsatisfactory and troublesome, that is the basic reality in which we all live. So we are kind of forced to experience this, and which is of course the driving force of our experiences that technically called the karma, right? Because the karma and then we experience all sort of life we experience all kinds of life, the things and events in our life. And then further, and because of the karma, and we express ourselves, and by verbally talking to someone, or make a statement, or express ourselves, and then bodily responded to or acting to react to the things that we have any kind of form of contact encountering. And then in mind, of course, we quite been very active, right? So all this to get together, we are in the situation that essentially our life is stressful and has to deal with. We are in the kind of midst of the all kinds of stress, right? And then among those stress or trouble, and you can say that the certain troubles are kind of unnecessary. It's really illusional, and is completely artificial, or is completely created by our own mind. Right? Literally, is the production of our own discursive thoughts. Our discursive thoughts, right? That's discriminative sort of thoughts, and then that is the creator who create all kinds of unpleasant, stressful scenarios, or brought us to the very stressful scenario, experiencing all kinds of difficulties. And this kind of scenario, or the unpleasant experience created by the discursive thoughts, or by assuming and being judgmental or overly reacted to the situation, all this sort of mistakenly by the think of or understand the situation. And then I think that is the thing we have to do something and to get ourselves free from this kind of a very bad pattern of the mentally created stress, or you created some kind of scenario, and then you put yourself in this in the middle of this scenario, then you make yourself a misery. So that can be stopped, right? That can be removed. Why? Because by analysis, you're thinking, then you know, and what you're going through or feel so lousy and bad, and basically it's nothing to do with the reality. It's not reflect anything that is really going on, but rather is your mind is making that up, make up this story, and then you take it as real, and then you are unhappy about it. So yes, mentally, through the analysis, through careful exam, and examine what you are thinking about, and then you can free from this kind of stress or sufferings created by your discursive thoughts. And secondly, we are suffer is because the situation, and which is real, and that can be tested, is verifiable, and it can be examined. In other words, so it's objectively you can you can reach out, and because it's there. So this kind of the causes suffering, and we need to take some action and see whether we can find a way and to address the causes and to remove or to make changes of the situations and conditions, right? But again, this need a very serious and honest investigation, and then take a realistic approach and to address it. In any case, right, in this kind of a real situation, one thing we must do is not let ourselves become mad about it and angry about the situation, and because the real is there. We must control our the self and not lose our temper, because if we get angry, get mad, and then we will let our anger master ourselves or control ourselves, right? And will authorize and sort of governing our life, whoever, right? And myself, and so that's how I think. When I think I'm getting mad, I don't see myself as a normal person. I'm just like nothing better than that madman or man who is mentally severely is ill. And so we both are sort of equal in that instance. In other words, as soon as I become very mad, angry, and mentally speaking, but in reality, as far as my mind, the state of my mind is concerned, I'm a madman. I'm not a normal human being. So I kind of pay attention and not make it myself, make sure myself not reach this point of the madness. My approach is kind of simple, and whenever I involve with this kind of real situation, it's a very delicate and complicated, and objectively it's there. Then I will see whether I can overcome the problem. If not, then so I would just keep silent and silent my voice and remain and say nothing. Stay in silence. That's the one thing, one technique I use. Another technique I use is when I find that the situation is hard to resolve and overcome, then I just walk away and then take a long walk. And so while I'm taking a long walk, and then I will get a chance to calm down myself, calm my mind, and then reflect the scenario, the situation better. So then I can return and then and to approach the problem from a different perspective. So yes, the point I'm making is that in my own personal individual case, that I do examine myself, and so I do reflect my own reality. And one thing I try my best to make sure that never happen is not to let myself become so angry.
다 그거 패고나 패서 그라. 뭐지? 정도 말을 좀 같이 듣고. 근데
Also, yeah, question.
그 송장 그 아까 그때 뒤서.
Oh yeah. So because I have a guest to come in at for the 11, so I'm going to leave, and shall I say that you guys are going to continue the dedication and the prayers. So thank you.
좋아요. 좋아요. 나타나.
Any questions?
대체 오케이. 처음에는 아주 때로는 저런 무실라 아리 서그 동탁 표현이 머리셔 대자 디지털 미쳤던 거. 뭐냐면 되지는 소문은 답지. 그런 거 뭐서 훨씬 더 해지. 잡든 더 해지. 처음에는 좋았어.
Any questions?
다 좋았어.
If you don't have questions, I just passed the book of Long Life, His Holiness Dalai Lama prayers. Today is the celebration's 14th anniversary of conferment of the U.S. Congressional Gold Medal to His Holiness 14th Dalai Lama. And so this we take this kind of like a special moment to say pray for His Holiness long life.
멋있다.
是的，让
家为上什么马里瓦，康的这样前为见这个儿，三十给老跟中一人儿，研究真正拉米所能拉。大家都是照背诵的那，刚正公布等子样作业，各自没些个地让等讲，人间这不是圣洁路，其样更是穷到娘就背。的真的是那一些也没真，长没等当等被见过的，下位一等好做他们知了，大家东西长辈送的那，刚正公布等着样作业。各自没些个地让等讲，人多人见这不是圣洁路，帮多用的能做成利益，中肯讲做的滋味，盘子都着我当他也老。让中的什么要我他们知了，大家东西照背送的那，刚正公布等着样作业，各自没些个地让等讲，人多人见这不是圣洁路。阶段胜利刚给爱着讲，瞧的是我南乡老我的，啥没有跟上给为婚，上的当别去接操那么拉。东西照背送的那，刚正公布等着样作业，各自没些个地让等讲，人多人见这不是圣洁路，是被正规让老起婚位。等到我什么教育一些真，那头多几张的没些包，这旁边跟的他们是了，东西照背送的那，刚正公布等着样作业。各自没些个地让等讲，人多人见这不是圣洁路，他就相当没有得着的，你当娘家若为真家为，那就是老上这老种子呗。你什么话我看着错那么拉，大家东西照背送的那，刚正公布等着样作业，各自没些个地让等讲，人多人见这不是圣洁路。路街强给高到下见的，这让为托的年功的，但当等着将为头的人，一些真的等送讲错了，大家东西照背送的那。刚正公布等着样作业，各自没些个地让等讲，人多人见这不是圣洁路，得人没小姐瞧那么拉， 学着娘的给为送的，是你们人儿那儿为。大所刚正周为滚去不，我路上等着杨左桥，上所没些门儿门内味儿，用血用着多儿些用我吃，搞我杨左有没大灯手。让中叫我跟接着贝壳，娘多这不是总为老亲戚，来跟朋诺儿我娘不真，下把这人很紧这劲儿去，天天总等高上难亏过。历经我所学的当中讲，特等小的跟得让得为，因此怎么一点就，上那把么生老的自由，当所娘的事的大门前。个人准备储备让你的，跟上军出将做头身说，马上世界要为神路当，等着了我没别的不当，到给老什么到别头都接。莫被东根的老年中伤。Hur många kikar det?
Como chico.
Lavar man?
Como.
Right.
Thank you, Geshe-la, Tempa, and Tenzin. If you would like to make a donation for this teaching, it would be greatly appreciated by the monastery and the monks. You can do this by calling 812-336-6807 or by emailing the center at tmbcc.kcl@gmail.com. For those of you here in the temple, I will pass around the begging bowl, and if you would like to make a donation, it would be greatly appreciated. If you cannot make a donation, you can simply say a prayer or a mantra into the bowl. And at 12 noon, we will have another teaching by Geshe Khalsang today, and he will be teaching the intermediate stages of meditation. All right, thank you.
Okay, Mamrim, prayer on page number 80.
Lo me mare ke don ro nan de ya vi om bo da jer ma so bi ce ro gan de Jang be yang ji zi wei ji zong de da be re ba gen cong lang ji shou nie ne de be ya na nie shi shou Rangi jizhen to be lam jinan 学着在为张为堂归的，为也结门把萨西。呀为当把也让人儿去，当把人间求给马就，瞧将娘们儿今儿为说的。娘接钱不要着就报应，盼的少儿学本小，这家为马上成连连。拉着香手浪迹人别样，谈多难解有老火的上，要为早把让的中间去。藏着北藤见着西上，嘎见塞西么当么么根，才热干的要为我把。南道浪当着玩马儿去，刚才他把着拉去就去，此人着拉总把的一切。的南极道的着西，朝西江左小根下边儿就，大为拉玛人不是，那所年个儿半为当学拉。高真前不过内接送的，各送的也你周的所，做人不去，马街把那接人儿去，给我娘把没本儿养，公内公的白味儿说。刚热热为国为上更的盼当的我马林中为你，家里人王等真将作业，下半生的part的单节儿去。把我今儿的钱把当跟的上不的样的人的。待到根基即是到老张，望得到他们知道的我，第什么下边叫我他们自己，我刚来说的我把的，大人给为啥我的跟讲，从不就是让的我儿子。盘点中的担保的上的，但真就他们这更上，历经更老的这种为你，上节担保到的节节就，才有更的叫我总高位。我新年我是这边的，要为我被南上的年里，可是这样都不儿忙儿就。
Oh, yeah.